Sniff, 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 so many smells. Where was I? A big red bouncy thing just licked my face, my tail wagged. Maybe this was a good place. A boy, maybe 2 legs tall, scooped me up. His eyes crinkled when he smiled. We were going somewhere in a thing with wheels. Everything was new, but I felt happy. He held me close, and I fell asleep to the rhythm of his heart. When I woke up, we were in a place full of wonderful smells and sounds. The boy, my boy, put me down and I explored. A big, kind lady with gentle hands scratched my ears. "You're home now, little one," she said. Home. This was home. With my boy, we played every day. He threw a red ball and I chased it. He laughed and I wagged my tail. He taught me tricks. He called me Buddy. I loved the sound of his voice, the way he smelled, the warmth of his hand on my head. He was my world, and I was his. Years flew by like birds in the wind. My boy grew taller, his voice got deeper, but his love for me never faded. We were inseparable. We went on adventures in the park, shared peanut butter sandwiches, and cuddled on the couch while watching moving pictures flicker on the screen. He told me his secrets, his dreams. I listened with my heart. Sometimes he seemed sad. I'd rest my head on his lap, gazing up at him with unwavering loyalty and love. He'd hug me tight, and I knew somehow that things would be all right. We were in this together, through thick and thin. He was my person, and I was his dog, his confidant, his furry shadow. One day, a new scent filled the air. It belonged to a she-human, beautiful and kind. She loved my boy, and he loved her. I knew because they were always close, always laughing. Then came the day when everyone wore fancy clothes, and the house was full of flowers and music. My boy, all grown up, kissed the she-human. They were married now. Soon the house was filled with the sounds of tiny humans. A little girl, then a boy. They were small and loud, but I loved them instantly. They smelled of milk and baby powder. I let them pull my tail, slobber on my ears. They were my boys, and therefore mine to protect. I watched over them as they learned to crawl, then walk, then run, filling the house with their joyous laughter. Time, like a river, kept flowing. My once shiny fur was now speckled with white. My steps, once full of boundless energy, were a little slower, a little stiffer. My boy, now a man with lines on his face, didn't play as often. He was busy with work, with the tiny humans. I understood. The she-human, always kind, still scratched my ears, but her touch didn't linger as long. The house, once filled with my name, echoed with the demands of the tiny humans. "Buddy's old now," I overheard them say. "He sleeps a lot." Their words stung, but I couldn't blame them. They didn't understand. They hadn't felt the depth of our bond, the years of shared laughter and silent understanding. Then came the day that broke my heart. My boy loaded me into the car. We weren't going to the park. This was a different place, a place that smelled of sadness and fear. He hugged me tight, kissed my head. "Be good, boy," he whispered, his voice thick with emotion. "I'll be back for you." I watched him go, my tail thumping hopefully against the cold metal cage. He'd be back. He had to. Days turned into weeks. The smells of the shelter, the barking, the loneliness gnawed at me. Where was he? Didn't he know I was waiting? The hope in my heart, once a bright flame, flickered and dimmed. He never came back. And I knew with a deep ache in my soul that some goodbyes are forever. But even though my heart was broken, the love remained. It always would. For he was my boy, and I would love him forever.